I'm Aaron from PhoneDog.com, and it's time for part 2 of the dogfight battle, HTC One X versus HTC Titan 2. Some love to Best Buy Mobile for hooking us up with phones like this that we turn around and give to you on the site. When you go into Best Buy Mobile, you'll walk out working. They're going to help you get your email settings, your phone settings, your internet settings, and more on both of these devices set up. Hey, you may just buy one. You may not even buy both. They'll still help you. At Best Buy Mobile, you'll walk out working. It's time for part 2, One X versus Titan 2. Let's take a look in the dogfight. We're back with part 2 of the HTC One X versus the HTC Titan 2 dogfight. Both HTC devices, both available on AT&T, both $199, and both 4G LTE, but there are differences between these two devices that will obviously appeal to certain types of people depending on who you are. Let's jump right in to some of the app differences, and I want to start by looking at the People Hub over on Windows Phone versus the People Hub over here. And you can see Aaron Baker, my profile. What I love about the People Hub, and this is something, it's really clean over on Windows Phone, but it's also very basic, so that's something to keep in mind. Over here, HTC's done a tremendous job with HTC Sense in terms of organizing things and really making things nice. So we can go into John Rogers, for example, and we'll go into Sam Johnson over here. So you can see what a typical contact screen looks like on both of these devices. So you can obviously see some stock ice cream sandwich influences here, although obviously it's pretty tainted, if you will, by HTC Sense. So you can see the menu button up here, Google, and if you have more than one card, you can sync those together. You got the name, you got the details, you can call the mobile, some notes, and then some more information down here. Now, what I like about the Sense side is, you know, John Rogers and I, let's say he's a good buddy of mine. We text, we call on a regular basis. We do a lot together. Let's say we're business partners. And so I can go over here to Threads, and I love the little transition effect between these two. And again, very fast thanks to that S4 processor. So I can come over to John Rogers and say, messages. When did I last send a text message to John? When did I last send an email to John? Although the caveat to that is Gmail doesn't show up. It's got to be something set up through the actual email application on the device, or an Exchange account, you know, whatever. Set it up through the email account, or through the email app as opposed to Gmail. Call history as well, so I can see all this in one spot, so I can kind of keep up with our contact information and where we left off in our last conversation. Updates, of course, gallery, so I can see tagged pictures as well. Then you can come over here and take a look at Sam Johnson. So you can see it's more basic over here. You can call mobile, you can text, you can send emails, but then you can see the history as well. So we haven't had any recent conversations, but that's about it. You have profile and history, which you can either swipe between or click up top, and then down here you have your buttons pin, link, and then edit, and then delete as well. So pretty quick, pretty easy to use on both devices, but I will say the personal information management on the One X side and Sense 4 side is much better than on the Titan 2 side. Now that said, the People Hub is pretty impressive, and one of my favorite ones, I can come over here and see all my Twitter updates through the People Hub. I can see recent, so I can see who apparently I've dialed myself recently, and then I can come down to this tile called Me, where I can go in here and I can easily post a message, I can check in, I can set chat status, and I can get notifications of who mentioned me in a tweet. So I can post a message, for example, it will update to Windows Live and Twitter. I can get rid of Windows Live if I just want to make it on Twitter. Hi from Titan 2. And I can say, it rocks my socks. And actually, let's say it rocks my socks. Rocks my socks. And so as soon as I hit send, it'll auto-update my Twitter account, and then of course that shows as my latest messenger thing. Actually, I did it on Focus 2 about a week ago. So hi from Titan 2, it rocks my socks. You can see on Twitter, set check-in, I can do chat status as well. So that's a really nice feature over there. Integration is pretty decent on this as well, but you know, it's a little bit harder to do over on the Sense 4 side, as opposed to, at least from the People Hub, as opposed to doing it over here. So that's something to keep in mind. Let's take a look at the contact stuff over here in the phone application, show you what it looks like. Obviously, you notice that the bars pop up so you can immediately see what your service is like, and that makes sense when you're in the phone application. I still would love to see whether I'm on LTE or HSPA Plus, which AT&T bills as 4G, or 3G, or Edge, or whatever. I'd love to see the ability to, you know, access that directly from the main screen. So you got your dialer pad here as well, and you can see it's all kind of sectionalized out, whereas over here you got phone, contacts, groups, and call history, kind of a revised dial pad, and then you see your contacts. So this gets a little cluttered from time to time when you have like 5 or 6 recent or missed calls, then you have all your contacts. I tend to get a little confused with which ones are my missed calls and which ones, where do my contacts start. So obviously you have little bars here, headers that show you, but still it's kind of easy to miss that. At least that's what I've found in my time using this. I actually have used the One X as my personal device for about a week, or for a couple of days. So it was that was something I immediately noticed. I've noticed it on past HTC devices as well. I can search here, easily get to people, And that's that. Now email, a little bit of a different animal over here because HTC Sense 4 obviously running atop ice cream sandwich. Here's the ice cream sandwich Gmail build. You've seen it if you've worked with any ice cream sandwich devices recently. Here's what email looks like on Windows Phone. I don't have a message in here right now, but I can scroll between unread, urgent, all, and then I can go down here and say new. I can sync them up, search, I can select, and then I have those options down here. Now, if you're ever down here and you're like, I'm not quite sure what, let's say, the magnifying glass means, you can press and hold, and it'll show you search, it'll show you labels, for example, it'll show you refresh, and it'll show you new as well, along with your menu button. Now, also something you'll notice, and this kind of plays to the inconsistency of ice cream sandwich, and maybe to a lesser extent Sense 4, you'll notice that the menu button, it moves around depending on what application you're in. For example, it was up here in Messages, now it's down here in Gmail, and then when you go to Facebook, for example, let's see if I have Facebook loaded up. Pardon me while I pull this away. And just using this as an example, really quickly, you can see that the menu button just appears as one really ugly long bar down here with the menu button. So that's a little thing where I'm like, you know, it needs to be kind of organized more. Developers need to get on that and really adopt whatever Google decides to do. So that's something to keep in mind there. Little inconsistencies like that. You know, if you're like me, those things may frustrate you, may not. Just something to point out. Now, you don't get any customization, so Sense 4 is pre-installed atop ice cream sandwich here. Windows Phone is a little bit different. Microsoft doesn't allow a ton of customization, but what they do have on this device, HTC Hub, where I can go in on the Titan 2 and access some HTC stuff. So immediately when you come in, you see that clock, that typical scheme here. It looks just, ironically, just like this. But you can see the weather as well. And I can go into Charlotte, for example, click on that. I can see the current weather in Charlotte. I can see today, tonight, you know, AccuWeather forecast. And I can go back. So it provides that kind of HTC look and feel. If you're coming from an older HTC Android device, you're migrating up to the Titan 2, it provides that HTC look and feel for you, but as soon as you go out of that, it's the typical Windows Phone appearance. So we can see stock, news, and then featured as well. Just kind of going through some of the cool applications on both of these devices. Over here, benefit, you do get Zune as a backend, which is really nice. You get Zune support for music and videos. Another thing I really like is this Local Scout application on the Titan 2. Take a look at this because I'm really impressed with this and how it performs. Load up here. So I'm uptown. My office is uptown. Let's say I want to drink or I want to go out to eat with a friend later after work. So let's say I'm in New York or Chicago. I just changed up the story, but let's, for sake of example, say that. And I'm like, you know what, I don't know the restaurants nearby, but I'm coming out of a meeting. I can find restaurants nearby or drink places near, or bars rather nearby. I can find stuff to see and do, so I can go to a live. Today's Thursday, and this is what I like about it. It's smart. So it brings up a live after 5 because it knows the live after 5 is something that happens in Charlotte and uptown every Thursday. Those types of things are things that I really like. Epicenter, of course, NASCAR Hall of Fame, a lot of different options to see and do. I can shop if I want to. I can see highlights. And then I can go back to eat and drink, and it's populating the map up top, which is really, really nice for those areas. I've actually used this on Windows Phone before in San Francisco. I'm like, I'm not quite sure where the best restaurant is. Let's look up some stuff. So it just provides a nice, easy solution. To me, though, where Android has it locked is the Maps application. It's fantastic on this device. Really, really impressive. And let's see if I can get it to lock and load here. Let's do this. There we go. So it's loaded up in Uptown. What I really like about this is it's just incredibly easy to do turn-by-turn directions based on the actual Google, the Maps application. Here you get Bing Maps out of the box, but it's not my favorite in the world. I think you kind of need a third-party application, which is a benefit of the Lumia 900 because it has Nokia Drive and Nokia Maps available for download. So in terms of maps, I've been really impressed with the Maps application on Android. But let's take a look at the camera on both of these devices. And so, you know, a 16 megapixel camera, obviously a selling feature over here, but an awesome 8 megapixel camera over on the HTC One X. So we'll bring up the Droid Razr Max here just for sake of taking some comparison shots. You have the camera button over here, obviously half press to focus, full press to take the picture, and I love the application here. It's really impressive in terms of look and feel. You get your settings, you can switch to your front-facing camera and switch to video as well, and easily scroll right back and forth between your gallery and your actual picture. Now, some of the cool things about this that I really like, burst mode. So let's go back out here and actually zoom back out. Love this feature. Oh, hang on, sorry. Sound's turned off, so you're not going to be able to hear the cool little gunshot or like machine gun-like noise that it makes. So it's focusing in on the logos, obviously. And that's a huge benefit for whenever, let's say you're at a Charlotte Bobcats game and they're failing like they usually do, and you really want to take a picture of them failing, you can do so. I hate to, like, I love Charlotte. I love my city more than anything, but the team, the Bobcats aren't the greatest in the world. So forgive me if you're a Bobcats fan. But you can take pictures and you can pick the best picture in real time, and you can also do that while you're shooting video, which is really nice. Last but not least, I want to take a look at speed test on both of these devices. So obviously both are LTE devices, and so we'll load up speed test just to give you a comparison and bandwidth over here on the Windows Phone side, just to see what we can pull. So, LTE honestly hasn't been the best in the Charlotte metro area. I find it to be on par with some of my HSPA Plus speeds. When I work with HSPA Plus in the global version of the 1X or the 1S that was unlocked, I'm getting HSPA Plus speeds of like 7 to 8 megabits per second. So you can see, obviously, we are kind of getting ready to get into rush hour, but still not impressive whatsoever on the LTE side. The fastest I've ever seen in Charlotte is about 8 or 9 megabits per second. And let me see if I even have it in the results. So you can kind of see my comparison ones here. 8, 8.72, 6.28, excuse me, 5.01, 6.69. Nothing like those 35 megabit per second speeds we're seeing in some of these markets like New York City, but still, pretty doable. I'd like to see it faster at some point, though. So, you got two awesome devices. Like anything else in the mobile industry in 2012, they're both good. You're going to be happy with either one, but of course, this is a dogfight. We've got to declare a winner. So I'm giving the winner, or the gold medal rather, to the HTC One X. I think in terms of what you get when you really look at $200 and you really look at bang for the buck, your bang for the buck is a little bit better on the One X. The fast device, the personalization of Android's fantastic. I love the body. I should take that back. Actually, personally, I don't care for the polycarbonate shell in my personal life, but I can see why a lot of people like it, and I really respect the way HTC's designed this. So, when we get into like personal, that's kind of the hard thing as a reviewer. You kind of have to pull your personal takes out of it and look at what's best for the whole. And I'd say for the whole, it's an awesomely designed device that really should appeal to a lot of people. So One X wins the dogfight. Titan 2 is an awesome option as well. If it were a little bit cheaper, you know what? The dogfight could be swayed in its favor. But for what you get, $200, you can't go wrong with the HTC One X. Much more coverage to come on PhoneDog.com with both of these devices, so keep it locked on the site for continuing coverage. Vote for your favorite phone in PhoneDog's official smartphone rankings at PhoneDog.com/rankings. This bad boy has been on the top charts for 2 weeks. Can it be dethroned? Who knows? Find out at PhoneDog.com/rankings. Be sure to follow me on Twitter as well, PhoneDog_Aaron, Facebook, Facebook.com/PhoneDogAB, and let me know what you think on Google+. gplus.to/PhoneDog. Thanks for watching. Keep it locked on the site for more dogfights between awesome smartphones. We've got some cool stuff coming out in the next couple of weeks, so stay tuned on PhoneDog.com. We'll see you next time.